Hello to everyone in one of my summer session classes at MWCC Community College. This summer I'm teaching exclusively online, so I wanted to make a quick video so you can get a sense of who I am and what the expectations of the course are. I know I've taken online classes before, and they're very impersonal experiences. You don't get a sense of who the instructor is, and I certainly don't get a sense of who the students are. So I thought a quick video wouldn't hurt. My name is Jim Korman, and I've been teaching at the Mount for 23 or 4 years now. And I am the chairperson of the Legal Studies Department, the History Department, the Political Science Department. I love the work. I don't love teaching online as much as I do in a traditional in-person, what we call brick and mortar class. Because of the impersonal nature of it, it's hard to develop a sense of community, and there's some challenges involved. Much of the challenge is regarding the fact that there's a lot of independent learning on your part. You have to take the bull by the horns and really take a deep dive yourself into the resources, the videos, the assigned books and reading materials in order to get the full benefit from the course. And it takes a lot of a challenge and a lot of work on your end in order to get, I think, a full benefit from the course by doing that sort of independent work. I do supplement the readings with my own video lectures for the different chapters that might be assigned during the course of the semester. I also put up other videos that I think are informative and helpful for students to understand the concepts and materials in the book. But just a little bit about myself. I'm Jim Korman. I live in Brimfield, Massachusetts, which is one town over from Sturbridge, Mass. Maybe 15 miles south of Worcester. We're right on the Connecticut border. I've been teaching again at the Mount, often at the Gardner campus from the fall and the spring semesters for 24 years now. But I also teach online in the summer session. I usually teach exclusively online. I am a community college graduate myself. I went to Springfield Technical Community College many years ago. I grew up in Springfield, Mass. And after leaving or graduating from Springfield Technical Community College, I went to Springfield College, earned my bachelor's degree in history, then went on to Western New England Law School. Now it's Western New England University. Also in Springfield, then earned my Juris Doctorate and passed the bar and became a licensed and practicing attorney. I've been practicing law now for 33 years. I only do criminal defense work now, and I have a law practice in downtown Worcester, but I practice throughout the state of Massachusetts, as well as teaching for the Mount. After I earned my Juris Doctorate at Western New England Law School, I went back because I had a passion for history and political science. I went back to Worcester State, which is just down the road from my law office, and earned a master's degree in history. So some of you are going to say, well, this guy's out of touch. He's just some, academic type of person. And that's really not true at all. I come from a blue collar background. My dad was a plumber. I wanted to be a plumber, but largely from the experience at the community college, not getting into the plumbers union as an apprentice at the time when I was out of high school, I started going to community college and fell in love with it. And I just kept going and going. And I still think it's the most important degree and experience that I have from all my educational experiences was that experience at the community college. And I know it sounds kind of corny, but when I left Springfield Technical Community College, my friend, who I'm actually going to be seeing this weekend because his son's graduating from the University of Massachusetts, hope to someday return to teach at the community college. We loved it so much. And he went on to UMass and to Columbia University, earning his master's degree and working in education in the New York school system for a number of years. He retired young. I don't know how he pulled that off, but he did. And I'm sure we'll be talking about our experiences at Springfield Technical Community College together this coming weekend. But I want you to get a sense of who I am. I'm very informal, although I might look formal. I'm very informal. I hope to think I'm very approachable. And so as the semester pans out, there might be times where you're taking or doing an assignment or responding to a prompt in the discussion board, or just simply not understanding something in the syllabi and you might feel a bit lost or confused. Don't ever be afraid to reach out. That's what I want. There truly is no such thing as a dumb question. So I want you to know that I'm approachable. I urge you and want you to approach me when you think something is awry or maybe not explained effectively or clearly, so you have experience in the program. I know when I've taken classes, especially when I've taken online classes, there's been times where I say, I don't know what this instructor really wants from me. And I get very anxious and I get sometimes very upset, but I sometimes don't have the courage to just reach out because I don't always know who that professor is or have a comfort level with them. I want you to know, I want you to reach out. There's no such thing as a stupid question, and nothing that gets in the way of your educational success and enjoyment of it uh, should be something that needs to be remedied right away. So please reach out. Um, Emails, I try to get back within 24 hours. And don't be afraid to send a second email. I do get very busy sometimes, not just with the teaching, but I have an active law practice, and you'll send me an email. I might be reading it while I have a break in court, and I'll say, oh, that's a simple thing. That's not a big deal. So to me, it's kind of resolved, but you don't know the response to it yet. And I get active again, and I think, okay, I'll take care of that problem. But you weren't made appraised of that, or you weren't appraised of my ability to resolve that issue, whether it being blocked out of a test or you submitted an assignment but didn't attach the form or the work that actually went with it. And you couldn't re-establish it, and you're panicking. Don't be afraid to send a second email. Don't be afraid to call as well. I give my cell phone is my business number as well. I'm almost never at the Gardner campus in the summer unless you want to make arrangements to meet for some reason. Don't be afraid to call. And the same thing, if you go to voicemail or something like that, don't be afraid to follow up the next day because the squeaky wheel gets the oil. And don't think you're ever bothering me. I get so many students say, "Oh, I think I'm bothering you. I had a question on the other assignment. Now I have a question on this assignment." Don't feel that way at all. I want questions. I want you to have confidence that I'm there to help you to get to the finish line and do well in the course. And that kind of goes back to my own experience at Springfield Technical Community College. That was long before we had distance learning and Blackboard and other things like Canvas or modalities where you can take distance edge. And I was taking classes in person, and I never felt very connected at that first go around at the community college. And I often felt that I didn't know what was expected of me. I felt very alienated, and I didn't think I was really college material, to be quite honest with you. And during the course of the first year at Springfield Technical College, I ended up dropping out largely because I didn't feel like I knew what was expected of me. And I was too, introverted and shy to reach out and seek either help or clarification on different things. Don't be like me. I was lucky enough to go back a year later and get better grounded and get a little bit more courageous in terms of investing myself in the process and becoming successful. But I know what it's like to feel like this isn't for me and I don't belong and I'm not smart enough to get through it. And nothing could be further from the truth for you or for me or for any of us. And so I want you to take an active participation in your removing of obstacles by being comfortable reaching out and contacting me. And now so just some nuts and bolts. This is both of whatever classes I'm teaching in the summer or any class that I teach online are what we call asynchronous, meaning you don't have to be on at any given scheduled time. You don't have to say, oh, every Monday, Tuesday, and Wednesday I have to be in at 7 o'clock to have a Zoom meeting. We don't do it like that. It's asynchronous, and then I put up videos. You can watch them at your leisure. I put up assignments with a window of opportunity to finish that assignment. So I don't know, say you went on a Monday and you see the assignment was just posted, you'll probably have 3 or 4, maybe a full week to complete that different assignment. And then you might have 2 or 3 days after a block of material is covered to complete an exam or a quiz. All those things are explained in the different prompts that will come up on the Blackboard website page where you'll see the whole class built out with different. You'll have a syllabus, you'll have a section for homework or maybe module folders that you have to click through. And a lot of students, it seems to be a concern that a lot of students will see an assignment, they'll click through the folder and they say, well, how do I submit the assignment? How do I get it to you? You just simply double click the assignment icon usually, and that'll open up a portal where you can attach a document, or you can type in your response. If it's a simple assignment, you could type it right into the sort of this message portal and send it off to me. I prefer you do everything in a document form so you can save it in case there's some glitch later on, Blackboard goes down and we lose that repository of information. So always save your documentation. I prefer you to send me things in either Word or a PDF or or as a web page, something that I can universally open up very easily on my end. A lot of students send me Google Docs, and I have trouble opening them. It always asks me to seek permission from you or things like that. You can also, whatever document you make, even if you made it in a Google Doc, you could always just shade the entire material, copy it, and post the entire text in the submission box. That way the document doesn't have to be opened, if you will. You can't break it. You make a mistake and it doesn't come to me, you let me know. And then you can send me an email with the attachment on it, and I'll just grade it outside of the Blackboard for that experience until you get your sea legs, so to speak, on being comfortable with submitting documents through Blackboard. Tests are done through Blackboard as well. Sometimes students ask me, well, these open book or are they open note? Can I have computer access and look things up during the course of the test? Obviously, well, I shouldn't say obviously, some professors do put in parameters where quizzes have to be taken at a certain time with a password and ask you based upon your integrity, and other tools they have to ensure that you're not using outside resources other than the knowledge you've gained. My tests have the expectation of being open book, open note, open resources by allowing you to go and look up the appropriate answer to some of the questions that you might have doubts about. That's a learning experience in of itself. So I have not only no objection to it, I encourage you to not answer a question you don't have confidence in answering if you have the time to go and look it up. Many of the tests are open for 2 hours. They don't close out automatically, but I'll be aware of how long you took the test. Some tests might be more lengthy, depending on the class that you're in, and I might have a 4-hour window for you to take them. Accommodations. And I accommodate every student with any kind of accommodation, as long as I'm aware of it, whether it gives you extended period of time on the test or other parameters. I don't know what they always are, but I always accommodate students' needs if they have to have some kind of expanded window or different tools to in order to ensure some success on the tests. You'll see my videos up there. Usually there's a clear icon, Korman or Jim's videos on the side, and you can click through those and watch the videos. Sometimes I put other videos up that I found that I think are really helpful to the class, maybe an article occasionally once in a while outside the book or textbooks that I require for the class. Other than that, I have a wife and 7 kids. I have 2 dogs. Usually I put the dogs on the video. You'll see during some of my lectures, the dogs will be, they're not here, sitting in the background, or they'll be barking because somebody will make a noise outside. My hobbies actually relate a little bit to my teaching career. I collect political memorabilia. In fact, today I just had a tough time getting back home to make this video because I live not too far from the famous Brimfield flea markets, the world's largest outdoor flea market, antique bonanza, I don't know what you want to call it, in the world, and the traffic is backed up all through my community right now because of people come from all over the world to come to the event. But I collect political memorabilia and I do some antique stuff. That's kind of one of my hobbies, but it relates directly to my interest in history, political science, and law, because they're all interrelated. Other than that, my heart and soul is in the community college. I love teaching at the community college. I've taught at other institutions as well, but community college is where I belong, and it's where you belong too. And I think you're going to get a decent experience out of it if you're not afraid to. You shouldn't be afraid. There's no such thing as a bad question. There's no such thing as I screwed something up and I up, or I was in the middle of a test and you lost power in some way. You got locked out of the test and you couldn't get back in, and I was only halfway through, and that's it, I failed the class. Nonsense. You contact me, I can reset things, or we can take a portion of things where you left off and move forward from that. We can make things work. The goal is to gain some substantive knowledge and maybe some skills depending on which class you're in, and how we get there is less important than making sure we get there. And if we work together, you're going to get there just fine. Other than that, don't be afraid to reach out with any questions or concerns. There is also learning assistance at the college to help you with Blackboard issues. Sometimes there's issues that are beyond my control because you have a firewall up or other technical issues actually logging into Blackboard. But reach out to me and I'll definitely connect you with the right person. And sometimes, occasionally, students feel like they need a tutor. There are tutors related to almost all the classes I teach available through the Academic Success Center at MWCC Community College. And My wife's also a graduate of a community college. One of my sons is a graduate of community college, and two of my daughters are attending, at least in part, community college. One is at Clark University, but she's also taking some classes at the community college to catch up on some credits. Other than that, it took 15 minutes and probably talked 50 minutes too long, but quick introduction, that's who I am. And again, reach out with any questions or concerns. I'm going to have a prompt up discussion board. That's one thing too. A lot of students think I'm going to use the discussion board a lot. I don't do a ton of prompts during the course of, especially the summer session. I think I find it difficult to grade discussion board questions, but I do put up things that I think are really core concepts to get the students talking back and forth about their understanding of a principle. So hopefully it helps glean how a rule or a principle is actually applicable, especially in a law class, but also in a political science class or a government class. The discussion sometimes helps students maybe think a little bit more in depth about a concept or an issue. But I don't use it nearly as much as I use assignments and quizzes and tests and things of that nature. But I always give advance notice, and sometimes a student will say, geez, when's the next discussion board prompt coming up? I'll let you know. I'll put up a prompt. Say I put one up today. I say, hey, today is such and such a date. I just put up a new prompt about some topic that I think is important. Please put your response up in a response to two different students sometime in the next week. I give you plenty of time to get things done. And I think I give clear guidance in all of my syllabi about how you get graded and how you contact me and how you contact other resources at the Mount. Other than that, I hope you have a good experience, and I hope you get a sense just by watching this video. Maybe I'm not such a scary guy after all, and you should feel some degree of comfort reaching out with any questions or concerns you have about either substantive material about the course or what you're trying to learn about, or just navigating through Blackboard, because it's intimidating if you haven't taken a lot of classes before. Good news is, if you're a summer student, chances are you've either completed other courses at the Mount, either in person or online. So it's not as risk bound to be a shock to you about what the expectations are on a Blackboard based course. Other than that, welcome aboard, and say hello, and that's going to be the first prompt. Introduce yourself, who you are, what your goal is, why you're in the class, and what do you hope to get out of it, and all that kind of stuff. Otherwise, have a great day. Enjoy the weather.